Welcome to Hanging at the Hangar Bar. I'm Scott.
I'm Candace.
I'm Lariah.
And I'm Lacey. Grab a drink and come hang with us at the Hangar Bar.
Welcome back to Hanging at the Hangar Bar. Happy to have you here with us. Today we're going to talk about new fireworks. So just in the last week at the start of the 50th, Candace and I mentioned that in our last episode, that they were coming out with a couple different fireworks shows. And we're going to talk all about our first reactions to that. So excited to share that with you. But before we get into that, remember to check us out on our Instagram. Hanging at the Hangar Bar is our handle. Interact with us. Give us your opinions. Did we get things right? Did we get things wrong? We'd love to hear from you and have you interact with us. We would love to hear from you. Hey everybody, this is Scott. Just sort of before we get into the episode today, just wanted to apologize. During the edit, we did found that there was a little bit of sound issue. We're still playing around with different microphones and that kind of thing. So we didn't think it was bad enough to have to re-record this episode and postpone another one. So I do apologize about the sound quality. It gets better for the next ones. We went back to the old way of recording as we kind of think through the best kind of microphones and setups to get. So apologize for that. Hope you still enjoy this episode. Thanks. So as we get into this, let's talk Harmonious first. The new Epcot show with the barges out in the middle and all the water and colors and lights. Let's just thumbs up, thumbs down around the room. Candace.
Thumbs down.
Lariah.
I would give it a thumbs up.
Okay. Lacey.
I gave it a thumbs up.
I'm giving it a thumbs sideways.
Really?
Harmonious is one that I wasn't super enthused about as we watched it, but I'm not sold that it wasn't bad camera angles and just watching it on TV instead of watching it there live in person. So Candace, I love starting with negative opinions. Why thumbs down?
Okay, y'all in this room know how I feel about all the introduction of IP, intellectual property, into the various places in World Showcase. Some belong, some don't. Harmonious showed me that if that is, and I told Scott this, if I was a guest at Disney World and I had one park to choose from, and my choice was Epcot, and I had one day to be there, and that was the last thing that I saw, I would think, oh, so all those countries back there don't really mean anything. It's just all about Disney stories and all of their property. And all the lessons that you can actually learn when you're back in World Showcase if you take the time to go into those pavilions and look and talk to the cast members. Doesn't mean anything because it doesn't have Mulan, or it doesn't have The Lion King, or it doesn't have any of that. And I don't know. If that's the direction that Epcot is going, I guess I need to get over myself. But I appreciate it more as a cultural experience and not just another place to watch Disney movies or see the stuff from Disney movies. And where was I going with that? I don't know. I'll think about it, but I didn't appreciate it. It also seemed very disjointed to me. Disney's known for their storytelling, and this had no continuity to it at all. It was just like, here's a movie, here's a movie, here's a movie, here's a movie, here's a movie.
Interesting.
Okay.
Reactions to what Candace just said?
I am not going to disagree with you now that you say that, with it being all about Disney movies. I do agree with that, where they could have done better at representation of the countries instead of just showing it through the Disney movies. However, I did like that during the songs and the music that they sang a lot in the language that the country that they're representing. I thought that was cool with like Moana and Mulan. Thank you. I thought that was cool. I'll kind of come back to this after we talk about Enchanted, because to me, my opinion kind of is because of Enchanted a little bit. So,
Oh, I remember, but go ahead.
no, I'm done.
Okay. I remember what I was going to say is that the stories that they used in Harmonious seemed so much like we're just going to chop apart Happily Ever After since we're not using that anymore and we're going to use it over here at Epcot. So it kind of blurs the line between identifying the parks between each other. And I thought that was kind of sad because Epcot does have its own personality.
So, Lariah, you seemed enthusiastic about a thumbs up. Tell us why.
I guess a big part of the fireworks shows that I have seen have been a lot to do with the music. And I thought that, and that's one of the things that's most important to me about the fireworks shows, I think. And I thought the music was beautiful. And like Lacey said, how they sang it in different languages. I thought that was so cool. And I don't know, I just got, the music just gave me goosebumps. Like the fireworks were cool, but the music was just amazing, which, I don't know, I guess I wasn't expecting that from an Epcot fireworks show, but I guess I didn't think about how much it, like, being in Epcot, because I was watching it from a computer screen, so I wasn't screen. Happy Halloween. But I didn't feel like I was in Epcot, so, you know, maybe that's some of it, but
I was going to say the same thing, where watching it, I just looked at it as like a Disney fireworks show. I didn't even think about it being an Epcot. I was just like, oh, it's got all the good music and everything. And I thought that the music part was really good.
Yeah,
I thought-
standalone, it was really well thought out from a standalone show perspective.
Yeah.
But
Like, oh, go ahead.
now that I listen to how Candace describes her experience with it being an Epcot fireworks show and not just a Magic Kingdom solely Disney fireworks show, I am now realizing that I guess it doesn't make a whole lot of sense of where it's placed. And I will say, though, it's hard to go back from Happily Ever After, though. Like, after seeing that, like, they really had to go above and beyond to compete with Happily Ever After. And so it did seem like it was kind of chopped up with, they chose the same songs, a lot of the same songs, the same music, which are heavily popular songs, but, you know, they,
Overhype.
oh, yeah. They could have done something different to make it seem like you were in Epcot. But I still did, as just a Disney fireworks show, it was amazing. I really liked it.
Yeah, as you were talking, what popped into my head was it was really well put together for a backyard fireworks show. Like
Yeah.
a Lincoln, Nebraska fireworks show. Like if you think about like music clips being put together and fireworks timed with it and images displaying and that kind of thing, super well done. The technology behind it, super well done. That's why I'm kind of meh on the whole thing. Because if you, coming from Illuminations, there was a strong, cohesive story. At the beginning of it, each of the World Showcase pavilions lit up when they were talking about that part of the world. And it was all sort of brought together. So, Lariah, I know you didn't get to see that because we were in the restaurant during the fireworks show. Right. But it was so well set up with that globe that came out. They needed to update that technology for sure. I'm not going to knock them for updating the show, but they just didn't tell a story with it. I didn't know, and I would have to go read again what the story was, but it took me until the next day after watching it, and somebody from the Disney company putting out a short little video that says, here's what Act 1 is supposed to represent. Here's what Act 2 is supposed to represent. Here's what Act 3 is sort of supposed to represent. I didn't put that together. If you're going to tell a fireworks show, nobody had to tell you the connective tissue in Illuminations or the connective tissue in Happily Ever After. they didn't have to do that because it was evident in their storytelling. They didn't do that. I don't think they did an effective job of that with the new Harmonious.
I agree.
That's a good point.
Dare I say, I think they should have kept the Epcot Forever.
That was a good one, especially, I'm sorry, with the Walt voice little pieces.
Yeah, and remind me when we start talking about Enchantment, Walt's voice, not used at all
Yeah.
in the 50th anniversary celebration in Enchantment. We're jumping ahead. Let's stay where we're at. Harmonious.
Focus.
Sorry, squirrel moment. I have my Doug moments.
Yeah, I think I didn't watch Illuminations enough to be able to pick one over the other. I was also not sober when I watched Illuminations for the first time. So it's not crystal clear. Don't worry, I was not drunk at Disney, just a little
tipsy.
tipsy.
Feeling free.
Right.
Tipsy at Disney.
Tipsy at Disney. But yeah, I really liked the music, and it did give me goosebumps just because I love the vocals were really good, and I loved how they sang it in the language. And
So here's a question for you. So they have 100 years worth of recordings of that audio and of those songs. What did you all think of them re-recording them in a slightly different style from like the original? So when they're doing
You thinking
Lion-
specifically the Jungle Book?
the Jungle Book, I'm thinking all of them had sort of a different style to them. Like they were recorded in kind of a more current poppy style. What did you guys think of that?
I think that it could be done either really good or really bad, and there's no in between. And I was happy, actually, with those covers with Harmonious.
same.
We'll get to, what later. But with Harmonious, I thought they were really fun and exciting, and the vocals were good. And I don't know, I really liked the covers they did. I thought they were like getting ready for a party.
Well, I think that if they didn't do it in the language, if they didn't have someone come in and sing it in the language of the country that they're representing, I wouldn't have liked it because I do not like Disney covers. I like the original. Like I prefer that.
Yep.
Yeah. The King Louie one was a little confusing at first. Wouldn't you agree?
I was
Where-
like, what is that?
Yeah, I didn't know what was going on at first, and then I heard it, and I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. But I can already tell by the look of your faces you do not agree, which is fine. And I have opinions about Enchanted, about same question. Okay.
Well, and I think it's interesting that for the Jungle Book section of Harmonious, they didn't use animation from the initial Jungle Book. And they didn't use footage from the live action Jungle Book that was one of their first live action remakes. They didn't choose either one of those. They picked some entirely weird looking, different.
Okay.
Somebody
Yeah.
created it overnight in MS Paint.
I don't know what happened, but I'm like, what is this? And where's King Louie? The real King Louie. Excuse me.
Okay, I didn't know if I just wasn't able to see clear enough because we were both, even Lariah, she watched it for the first time with me after I had already watched it. And she's like, who is that?
I was confused. I was like, what the heck is that?
I didn't realize that it was something entirely a different animation. I just thought I couldn't see it well. But that then
Yeah, I've
answers my
never
question.
seen anything like that before.
Yeah,
I'm
and-
like, this is not Jungle Book. What are they doing this a third time? Because really, leave it alone.
And even with the Jungle Book, that was another one where they completely changed the animation style was the Aladdin,
Yes.
where it looked like neon,
Yeah.
a neon genie. I'm like, you own this stuff. You don't have to reimagine it.
Yeah.
Don't change for the sake of change.
Right. So, yeah, one last question about Harmonious, and then I'll give us a final thought before we move over into Enchantment. Was there anything that they could change to make it, in your opinion, better outside of the storytelling or something that we've already talked about? Is there one thing that you would tweak?
Make it more about Epcot the park.
Yeah, I would say like that Epcot is so cool. And they could have done something so cool with like space, like futuristic stuff in space instead of just doing Disney movies. Like they have Spaceship Earth to work with. They have Living with the Land to work with. They have all of these incredible new things that they could work with those fireworks, and they chose to only do Disney movies. And I guess I'm confused as to why.
With you bringing up Spaceship Earth,
Yeah.
I think we've talked about it before that part of the celebration of the 50th anniversary was they put lights in each one of the things in the dome, in the ball. So we noticed that one of the very last shots of Harmonious was actually looking across the lagoon back towards Spaceship Earth, and they changed those lights so it looked like a sunset.
Oh, wow.
So they're able to do animations and things like that with those lights on Spaceship Earth now, which is fabulous. But if I was to go to Epcot right now, honestly, and was there for fireworks time, I would turn around and watch the ball to see what they do with it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because I'm not interested in that other mess.
Yeah, I do agree. I think I changed my rating a little bit after, and this is why discussing it with other people with different
Yeah.
perspectives is so important. Because for me watching it and for Lariah watching it, we enjoyed it because the music was great and we were able to see representation of some of our favorite Disney movies.
Yeah, of course.
With our favorite Disney songs. However, with your point, Candace, and with yours, Scott, saying there's no story, there's no flow to a story, and with yours, Candace, how they had to bring in the Disney movie songs into this. Epcot has its own message that it's trying to tell.
Yep.
Trying to say that, you know, it's great to move forward, to learn and create new things, but you need to go back to where you came from and realize how far we've come as as a planet and all of that. Specifically, Spaceship Earth. I mean, a lot of, like, you know, Living with the Land tells a message too. You know, it all goes through that. So yes, I think the show is good on its own. However, it does not represent Epcot.
And especially the mess that the world is in right now. I think they could have done a lot more to be more inclusive, to be more unifying
Yeah.
world over,
Yeah.
and not just in the Disney world.
Yeah, so the reason I went kind of a meh, thumb sideways, and I'll use this as kind of our wrap up for Harmonious, is that was a show that I feel like I need to see in person. Like, for as good as Disney has done in the past with broadcasting their fireworks shows, I thought they did a horrible job of filming that fireworks. The director in my opinion, didn't do a very good job of showing you the important things. Jump cuts from cameras instead of sort of fading in and out. I think we missed half the fireworks because they were zoomed in on the water screen. The technology that they use to put that together is phenomenal. What's the word I'm looking for? Such potential that they could do so many cool things. So that's the good thing that I see out of that. I want to see it in person because I think it's a completely different show in person.
For sure.
I think it has a completely different feel.
We
in
can
person.
hope.
We can hope. The other thing that I was going to say, and I asked, like, what would you change, is because of that technology, if they decide to, it would be very easy to change. right now because of the technology that they're using. It's not like a big globe Earth that you can only do so much with. Those water cannons and that kind of thing, they can change that show at any time to make it better. But yeah, I want to see that one in person, and I'd love, or if I'm going to see video of it, I want to see better video of it. I expected more from Disney's live stream for both of the fireworks shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Enchantment, Magic Kingdom. We're going to start this one the same way. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Candace.
2 thumbs, clear up in the sky.
Okay. Lariah.
Thumbs down.
Lacey.
Thumbs. Like 8 o'clock.
Most of the way down.
Yeah.
Kind of.
7:30ish.
7:30, 7:45.
And I am 2 enthusiastic thumbs up for Enchantment as well. Well, no, I'm 1 thumb enthusiastically up for Enchantment. I have some of the same issues with that one that I had with Harmonious.
Okay. Well, the reason why my rating is so low is because I didn't like how the Disney songs were. Okay, Lariah and I were talking about this. It's the 50th anniversary. I want to see like some good old, I want them to dig in there and get all those Disney classics up. That's what I wanted. That's what I expected. And I didn't get that. And I was disappointed. I got, okay, I know we all have the same thoughts and opinions about this. I'm so over the hype of Frozen.
Thank you.
Yes, I enjoy it. I do enjoy it. But I think it does not. Okay, maybe it does belong in the 50th anniversary, but that, I don't know. It's just like, are they coming up with these shows because they know people want to see Frozen? Or are they doing it because Frozen is such a huge part of Disney, you know? And it is, but Frozen is just so overhyped, and I feel like it does have a place, a small place in the show, but it gives it way too much attention. And I wanted to see some, like, you know, some old classic Disney movie stuff representation, because we're in Magic Kingdom, you know? I don't know. So I was just disappointed.
So you're saying they need to let it go.
Cheers.
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah, wah.
Lariah, you also had a negative opinion of Enchantment. Tell us why.
I guess I was expecting, okay, so you all know how I feel about Happily Ever After. Like, it's the best thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Well, and that was the first one that you ever saw.
Yes.
So that's your near and dear.
Yes, and boy, did I get a great first show, because I think about it as how you described you not wanting to see Happily Ever After when they changed it from Wishes, I believe, because you loved Wishes.
I did love Wishes.
And you were like, I don't know if I'm going to get down with Happily Ever After. Like, you were so unsure. And I kind of had the opposite reaction to, like, I didn't want to see Happily Ever After go, but after when you guys told me at first that they were changing the fireworks show, I was just like, well, Happily Ever After was amazing, so I cannot wait to see this new. Like, I have full faith, full hope, full everything. I liked nothing about it. I was not blown away at all. Like, the start, the first thing you see was Tiana, Princess and the Frog. And so I actually did have high hopes for it. So I will give them that, because you all know how much I love Princess and the Frog. And I was just like, oh, it's going to be so good, because I just...
Starting off strong.
And I just couldn't get down with the covers. I couldn't get down with, there was no, like, it was basically like all crescendo and no settling down.
Oh, that's a good point.
There was no villains. Or there was villains, but there was no hype around the villains, and that is one of my favorite parts. there was no crescendo for Tinkerbell. Like, and I just, like, the main parts were just thrown away to incorporate Frozen.
Yeah.
And I love Moana, but I do love Moana. I do, and I love the music. They just didn't dig deep enough. And
Yeah.
I was just so disappointed to see that be the 50th.
So you're saying they could dig a little deeper?
They could dig a little deeper. I don't know. Sorry, I was very mad. Not mad, but
I was so mad.
I was so mad. I was very
Disney.
not mad. I was very sad after I watched it.
Disappointed?
Yeah, because I go back and watch Happily Ever After on YouTube all the time. Makes me feel good. It just pumps me up. It gives me goosebumps every single time I watch it, listen to it, whatever. Even Harmonious gave me goosebumps.
Me too, but for
This-
very different reasons.
Enchantment, I just think they did not do Disney justice. They did not do Walt justice. And
I would agree with that.
I just, for a 50th anniversary, like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I only went one thumb enthusiastically up for that show instead of two. I think with it being the 50th, why not start it off with something like, "To all who come to this happy place, welcome," in Walt's voice, and then have big fireworks going off.
Yeah.
How do you not highlight some of the rides from around the park? And maybe even some of the music from those rides.
Yeah.
Love that.
In a 50th anniversary spectacular. That was kind of my downside. But the reason I give it a thumbs up, and this is, I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion or not, my knock against Happily Ever After is it was a projection show with fireworks. You were there to
Yes.
watch the projections and,
Yeah.
and watch a movie, and fireworks were a bonus. Enchantment to me felt more like a fireworks show that was incorporating projections. So to my heart, I appreciated that I'm there for a fireworks show and the projections are just adding on to that. Again, camera work was sloppy
Yeah.
for that. Another one, I want to see it in person just because I think it's a
Yes.
completely different show. But to your point, it's again missing a cohesive story. For the Imagineers being such great storytellers, they missed two opportunities to tell really cool stories and instead just put movie clips together.
Yeah.
And Candace and I were talking, like, if you remember where Tink flies, number one, I think that probably is better in person than it was on the live stream.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think it surprised the camera operator. Because if you watch the camera, they had to like flip to it, they missed her
Well,
and had
like
to
I
come back
said,
to
no
her.
crescendo.
Right.
No
Like, is this your
build-up.
first day? Have
So-
you
Like,
never
I
seen
knew
Disney
she was
fireworks
coming.
before?
Like right before then, they have that pause and they say something. I don't remember what they say, but how and it's all about you have to have faith in the world, faith that
Faith
we're all
and trust.
together. How easy would it have been for them to say, and all you need is a little bit of faith, trust, shove Tink out the window, a little bit of pixie dust, and one or two of those big fireworks that looks like pixie dust falling goes off right when you shove her out the window, and you hear pixie dust. Boom.
Right.
That's all you need.
That's,
I would have been like,
yeah.
and I just dropped my jaw for those that are listening in. Like, that would have been a moment that would have taken my breath away. All you need is faith, trust, a little bit of pixie dust. Tink is flying over the crowd, and the crowd is being rained down on imaginary pixie dust. That would have been such a cool moment. Again, I'm not an Imagineer. I thought that instantly. How did somebody miss that opportunity? I just don't get it. So Candace, you were too enthusiastic thumbs up. So let's talk about why, because you loved it more than the rest of us.
Well, and I think maybe Harmonious left a really bad taste in my mouth. So anything following that, short of having a firecracker sitting on the ground going pop, would have been an improvement. To your point about having Walt, like, to all who come to this happy place, welcome. That was the opening for Disneyland We're talking Disney World. I think there's a very fine line that and Walt was not there.
So what did Roy say in his speech?
They could have used something from Roy,
I'm sure
or they
he had a
could,
couple lines. Sorry.
or they could have done several different voice snippets of Walt saying different things about the company, about his ideas, about any of that.
About the Florida project.
Yes. They could have done any of that, but they didn't. Lacey, to your point with the classic movies, I saw Cinderella like for half a second, and that's my favorite princess movie, with the aside of Sleeping Beauty just because of Maleficent and the dragon. With the villains, they could have done a ton more with that. I did like it for the innovation of it with the projections all the way down Main Street USA, because I think it's going to be a visual experience for more people that can't crowd into the hub to see everything on the castle.
That was cool. I will give them that, because that was pretty cool.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people would be willing to stand further back down Main Street, knowing that you can watch stuff on the buildings too.
And I think the camera work for that show didn't do any justice to the projections either. The projections were hard to see on the Pink Castle. They never gave you a full-on side view of Main Street USA to see what those projections looked like. It just looked like lights shining. You could see a little bit of movement.
Right.
So that's, again, where I think you have to be there in person. And maybe they're doing that on purpose.
Yeah.
Maybe they're reducing the quality of their live stream so you're like,
I gotta go
I don't want to
check that
watch
out.
this online. I want to go, if I'm going to go see Disney fireworks, I'm going to see it in person.
Well, because when you were saying that, I was thinking back to when they changed Illuminations to Epcot Forever. And when we watched that, when they did the presentation of that, I was not impressed with it. But then later, when I actually did get to see it in person, it was a whole lot better.
Wait, what's the order? Illuminations, Epcot Forever, then?
Harmonious.
So Epcot Forever, was that just a year-long
Yeah,
show?
like for 12 months.
Oh, what the heck?
It was
Okay.
like a bridge show.
Yeah, they needed something while they were breaking down all the infrastructure for Illuminations. They needed to have something at Epcot to replace when they took out the old barges.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I am a Disney podcaster. Yeah, I think that's cool. To respond to you, Scott, about Happily Ever After just being a projection show, I agree. However, with Happily Ever After, I could honestly do without the projection of the scenes of Disney movies. I think that the music that they chose for it all, the fireworks, I just think it's so amazing, and it just brings me back to when I was a little kid, and it just gives me all those nostalgic feelings of like watching Disney movies as a child and hearing them, you know, just, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I do have to say with Enchanted, I appreciate that it wasn't all about the projections, which that's not the reason why I like Happily Ever After so much. I just listen to it and I get goosebumps. I think it's a great, great show. And I just think coming down, I think Enchanted could have just done a little bit more. Yeah.
They could have dug a little deeper.
Yeah.
And Lacey, to your point of the classic Disney movies and that kind of thing, I think you can see this across all the decisions that have been made, both in the parks and everything else pretty much. They're capitalizing on the very popular stuff now. And that surprises me a little bit because you can go to Disney Plus and you can find all of those classic movies, watch them if you've never seen them, or watch them again if it's been a while, and get yourself caught up. Because there's wonderful, wonderful stuff in those movies. And again, it kind of takes you back to, if you start with Snow White as the first princess movie, and you work your way through all of the princess movies, how far all that technology and animation and all of that has developed. And it's been done by one company.
You know what would have been cool? is if they started off without projections and did all of those classic movies, and then they brought in projections after they developed that technology and just kind of like did it where look where we came from and look where we are today. I think that would have been cool.
Or to tie it back into the park. Project scenes from the park, like opening day and all of that, as long as they didn't put the god-awful birthday cake that they made the castle for the 25th anniversary.
I even think that would have been awesome. Like, just, you know, their projection mapping technique would have been able to overlay that and make
Yes.
it look like that castle again, even for just a brief moment. Hilarious.
I can't with that. It was the most awful thing ever.
It sounds bad.
They did.
It was
have
just
you seen
atrocious.
pictures? Okay.
I'm going to look up some right now just to refresh my memory.
We'll have to put a picture of the 25th anniversary castle on our
Do we
Instagram at
have
some
to?
point. Yeah, so Mariah, tell us your opinion about the Bobs talking at the beginning of the live stream.
Gosh, I'm sorry. I get Disney's important to you, but
We are not here to listen to the Bobs talk.
I'm
We are here to watch
sorry.
fireworks and maybe see Ariana Grande.
I
Is
didn't.
that who it was?
It was Christina Aguilera.
What?
Two very different people.
I
Wow.
was
Whatever.
really surprised with Christina Aguilera. I loved it. I love her, and I was like, heck yes! Like this is amazing.
I'm going to show my age here. What was she wearing?
That part I'm not sure about, but
I
the
think
vocals were there.
so. Here's what
usual.
I think.
Yeah, I mean, she's queen, but
She showed up in this sparkly outfit that I think she was like, "This is what I'm going to wear for this live stream that everybody in the world is going to watch." And Disney was like, "No, you're not. Put on this sweater so it looks like you have a heart-shaped sparkly thing on your chest." That's what it looked like to me. It looked like somebody made a decision like, "We can't put that out there right now."
this is a family-friendly park.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get and the more, this is why I like discussing this stuff and hearing your guys' opinions on it, because I'm very much like the Disney baby, whereas like you guys know 10,000 times more things about Disney, so
I would more call you like the Disney idiot, but okay. continue.
well,
just
I
kidding.
could think
That's
that
a
I would
joke.
too. But
They're sisters; they can talk to one another that way.
I love to learn about it though with you all and things I didn't know. After making like an opinion, I'm just like, okay, well that changes my opinion. I don't mean to sound like judgmental or anything, but like, you know, different viewpoints really change your opinion. Honestly, I don't know where I was going with
The
that.
Bobs.
Yeah, okay. I get that you said about the employees, how they were all in the park, which is really cool. Cast members, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Whoa.
I apologize. I didn't
That's
know.
illegal.
Cast members, I'm sorry.
Get out.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm kidding.
But,
Go ahead. He's
I'm having a squirrel moment.
oh my gosh, okay. I didn't hear, I guess I just didn't really get like Disney appreciation from it. Do you know what I'm kind of saying? It was more of like, this is my opinion of Disney, not Disney as a whole. I don't know. I just basically wanted to see the fireworks. Just
Yeah,
I skipped over that, to be honest.
yeah. The Bobs were fine.
Well-
But it was too long.
I was waiting to hear an important Disney message from them, and I didn't get an important Disney message. Like, Disney is all about magic and believing in everything, believing in the impossible, and I didn't really hear any Disney magic
Yeah.
in their speeches. Sorry.
It didn't inspire you?
It did not inspire
Agreed.
me.
Agreed.
Oh.
I will give them credit. Well, I will give Bob Iger credit for making a reference to the Bobs, which I thought was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah,
So,
I didn't think they were gonna say anything, and I was just like,
don't
"There's
miss
two of you
this.
up there.
right.
You got to
We got to
take
talk
that
about the
opportunity."
Bobs.
I don't get this. What?
So the movie Office Space. Have you seen it?
No.
Okay.
Oh.
Number one, squirrel moment. Sorry, everyone. You have to watch that movie because you work in an office building.
Yes.
You will resonate with that movie. It's a movie from what, 99, 2000?
Yeah.
Something.
Oh,
It's an
perfect.
older movie.
Okay.
But you'll love it, number one. But there's, number two, there's two characters that are consultants that are coming into this business. So yeah, it's 99 because it's about the Y2K fix.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
great.
there's two consultants that come in that are like operational consultants, and they're the Bobs. So throughout the movie, the main character's like, gotta go talk to the Bobs. Gotta go talk to the Bobs. The Bobs and I are talking about this. And it just, that reference probably was hit home for maybe a tenth of their audience, but those of us that got it were like, yep.
And he just slid it in there. It was real, like, subtle.
You've seen it?
Actually, no. I've never seen that movie. I just thought that
You just thought it was funny because he said two Bobs up here.
I was just like, oh, that's neat. There's two of
So
you.
now it's even funnier. But
now
yeah,
it's
watch the
funnier.
movie.
I will watch the movie.
Yeah.
So you're a
Disney
poser.
idiot. Yeah, pretty much. I don't know.
Wow, first she's a Disney idiot, now she's a poser. Nice.
Okay, so I think that's it for new fireworks, right? So
Yeah.
kind of closing thought on both of them is go see them in person if you can.
Yes.
Neither one of them are so bad that we would tell you to avoid Disney for them. Candace is thinking Harmonious might be, but I think I want her to
Watch
see
the
it in
ball
person.
instead.
Watch the ball instead. But go see it. Check out the video. Let us know what you think. But the other new thing that they implemented was in Animal Kingdom. They have a cute little kite show where they took the kites and the jet skis from Epcot Forever and pushed them over to Animal Kingdom, and they just dragged these big character kites around them several times a day. It looks kind of cute. I don't get it. I don't know that they play music with it. I think it's just they're doing something so they can do something. Have either of you seen that? We won't spend a lot of time talking about that.
No.
Have you?
I have not watched it
So we
yet.
won't talk about it at all. If you have an opinion on the kite show, let us know about that too. Or if you want us to do more research and watch videos on it, or our next trip, we'll make sure we watch it, even though there's other things at Animal Kingdom I want to do first. But that's it for this episode. Yeah, interact with us again on our Instagram, Hanging at the Hangar Bar. Thank you for hanging out with us. We definitely appreciate you, and we will see you in the next one. And remember, there's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.
See you real soon.